Okay, welcome back, everybody. I think this is going to be the last video that I'll do on maybe the body paragraphs, because each body paragraph should follow kind of a similar structure. So what I've done here is I've just copied and pasted over the outline that I did in the last video, and I'm just going to add for myself, and I would do this in my writing too, the thesis. So let me go ahead and write it. Thesis. This is a thesis for the whole paper. This is what I'm going to prove in every paragraph. Now I've got my rough outline here, and for my first paragraph, I need a topic sentence. So remember, a topic sentence is like a little thesis statement that supports that main thesis. So Dr. Seuss, my thesis is The Sneetches by Dr. Seuss reminds us that we should accept each other for who we are on the inside and not what we look like on the outside. So my first thing that I want to prove here is that there's some bias in stereotyping. So I could say Dr. Seuss begins the story The Sneetches by showing us how biased the star belly Sneetches are toward the plain bellies based only on outward appearance. Okay, so that's what I want to prove now. So I pulled some quotes. So kind of between videos, I just pulled quotes from the source. And what I realized is my second illustration was from the video, not from the actual text. So I just changed my second piece of evidence, but I think this will still make sense. So I'm going to say at maybe within the first few paragraphs of the story, we learn that the star belly Sneetches do not include the plain bellies because of their outward appearance. For example, Dr. Seuss writes, I'm going to go ahead and just copy and paste from my little outline here. It's the advantage of having this. And I'm going to shorten this. Okay. And since I don't have page numbers, I'm not going to include an in-text citation because I already have the author here, but I need that explanation. And I kind of like this explanation. So let's go ahead and we'll copy and paste up here. So now I have, for example, Dr. Seuss writes, when the Starbelly Sneetches had Frankfurter roasts or picnics or parties or marshmallow toasts, they never invited the Plainbelly Sneetches. They left them out cold and dark on the beaches. This shows bias because the only reason that the Plainbelly cannot be a part of the Frankfurter roasts is simply because they do not have stars. In this part, Dr. Seuss shows us how left out and sad the Plainbellies feel. I'm going to add something here, which is to underscore the moral, right? Up here, that we should judge people on who they are on the inside. This reminds us, that is readers, that what is on the outside doesn't make us better because we sympathize with the plain bellies. And then I can go into my next piece of evidence. I'm still in that first paragraph, right? So I'm going to say another piece of evidence is when the star bellies brag about being better. And let's see, I want to lead into this. So I'm going to say, also early in the story, Seuss writes, grab this part here, put it here. And this is also a fairly long quote. So let's see if I can shorten it. Again, real time, not planned. So I have they would brag about being better. So Seuss writes that the star bellies would say, we're the best kind of sneetches on the beaches. With their snoots in the air, they'd sniff and their snort. Will have nothing to do with a plain belly sort. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this part too, just because it's a long quote and I think I can explain it. So I'm going to say the bias that the star bellies feel, the bias that they feel toward the plain belly is based entirely on the presence or lack of stars on bellies. And I'm going to, at this point, again, because I want to ground it in reality and the sort of moral, I'm going to bring it back to us as readers. In our modern world, many people hold prejudice or bias against people because of their appearance and refuse to talk to people who are different. Now, that's pretty good, but I don't want to end there. I want to, again, kind of close this out. So I'm going to say Dr. Seuss is reminding us of the dangers of not thinking about who someone is inside and how focusing on outside appearances can create tension between groups. Okay, so something like that. So I feel pretty good about that, okay? And I could reread this, and you can pause and reread this on your own. But this is about what I'm looking for in a body paragraph, okay? And you can see it's, I don't know, what is that? Almost a page, right? 3/4 of a page, maybe. That's pretty good. Now, I know that some of you have been told, a paragraph should be 5 to 7 sentences, something like that. Paragraph can be as long as we want it to be, and we can talk about, the pros and cons of having a paragraph that's longer than a page. But I'd say this is pretty good. Is it perfect? No, I would want to go back through and edit this and revise it. But because I already had my little kind of brainstorm in the previous videos, and I have my thesis here, I feel like this is pretty well connected. I'm sure if I read through this, I would notice some typos or other things. Like that one right there. Thank you, spell check. So there you go. What I could do now, let's just do this for the sake of argument, is I'm going to grab from this other document my intro, and I'm just going to replace this so you can see kind of what it would look like. There we go. So I now have my intro. Again, I feel like this is a little bit short. I could probably lengthen this. And then my first body paragraph. And then I'm going to repeat the process that I just did here with my other body paragraphs. And then we'd come into the conclusion. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and end there in the interest of time, because it's already 30 minutes of kind of going through this. But you can see that, again, just getting these things down helps. And it does take time. But if you broke this up over days, not counting reading and rereading the story you're going to choose for your literary analysis, it's not taking a bunch of time, and it takes less time if I've already kind of thought through how I want to approach this. All right. So there you go. If you have questions, comments, concerns, jokes, memes, or recipes, please let me know. Otherwise, I will talk to you all later.